right. Good morning. Goodness gracious. Pillows all over the place. Ugh. No lick. Don't, no licking. Trying to train him not to lick as much. He still probably will lick all of his life, but if we could reduce it, he'll be a little less, I guess, best term for it. I mean, because he definitely will be loved no matter if he licked or not. But there's certain things you don't want your puppy dog to do to make them more acceptable to others, to be more, I can't think of the term of, but you know what I'm talking about. Like when you train your children to behave themselves, that's probably it. We want him on his best behavior around others, and we trying to train him that maybe licking somebody is not something that they would really want from him because he's a great hugger and he's well behaved and he does what you ask him to do. I mean, he's a very responsible young man. Yes, you are, Baloo. You're a good boy. So, very proud of you. Yes, you get better every day. And he's like, yeah, Dad, I try to be as good as possible. I'm sorry, Grandpa. Yeah, I try to be as good as possible. I want to be a good boy. I love being a good boy. Yes, you are. You're a very good boy. All right, let's get started here. I'll have a little bit of my coffee in my hands. Pepper wants everybody to play. Blue wants to hug and be with me. Linda just wants to have her BAL and everybody to be the best that they can be. Okay, I'm having some coffee. Hope you have something to get you started. We went out to for a little stroll around our local park and everything went well. I'm trying my best to take them for a W twice a day now. Now that things have settled into a better pattern, I'm able to get them out and get them around. So I thought a good discussion would be about something I heard recently on the All In podcast. Uh, All In podcast, I recommend it. It has some very interesting people in it. I think I've mentioned in the past before. They have uh, venture capitalists on there. They have four of them, but they're very different in how they view uh, progress and how we could better improve on improving things. So one of the things that came up was artificial intelligence, and the two people that had the most interesting takes was one guy that kind of looked at AI as being an infrastructural build out, and the other one looked at it more along the lines of a lot of capital investment versus return. And that differentiation was interesting because where are we in the Baloo, 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 Baloo. Leave him alone. Yeah, You stay with us. You don't need to mess with the neighbor's dog, okay? Don't mess with the neighbor's dog. No, stay with us. No licking. Yes, you're a good boy, but leave the neighbor dog alone, okay? All right. Oh, he got me. Mm. So, so let's look at AI. Is it a uh, an infrastructural build out, or is it a tool that needs to have a return on investment? Because this is, yeah, or a little of both. So David Sachs, one got the guy that was promoting the infrastructural build out, talked a little bit about how uh, building out the internet back when it started becoming popular, it really front run a lot of uh, the build out, front run the capability. They built out much faster than uh, the adoption of the internet really came about. And then, as you know, the adoption came fairly rapid. And there was a lot of investment that did not return quite some time. But eventually, it turned out to be a huge benefit to those companies that embraced the internet early. And even though they didn't have that rate of return the first few years, later on they became very dominant and huge rates of return uh, came in. So I have mentioned in the past that I was investing. Again, don't take investment advice from me. I am not a qualified investor. In fact, I could show you my portfolio and how well I've done over history, and I would have been better off just sticking my money in the S&P 500 and leaving it alone. I would have made more cash. Oh well, Blue. Oh well. We all make mistakes. But here's the thing. Um, I'm leaning a little bit more toward the infrastructural build-up. And the reason for that is I think even though there will not be a uh, big return on investment in the near term, there probably will be $1 trillion spent with almost no noticeable um, monetary or GDP impacts other than the money spent to build it out. I do, however, think it is one of those things that, uh, unlike a lot of other types of businesses where you get to a threshold where there's not much more that can be done, I think the threshold for artificial intelligence is very, very high. Very, very high. Because the aspects of life it could touch is really big. And I'll focus on one, just one, because there's a whole bunch of them. Some of them a little scary, some of them um, provocative. Uh, Ooh, fancy word. My wife would be proud of me. Provocative. Below, did you hear that? But I'm going to talk about robots. Now, how many robots would we possibly ever want? Now, here at my house, if we had a robot, just one robot, would that be enough for us? Uh, Probably so. It would be enough. My wife would probably want two, uh, because we have a two-story house, and she probably upstairs one and a downstairs one. I don't know, but one probably would be enough because the things we would like a robot to help us with uh, is stuff that we would probably want our kiddos to do with us. Um, right now, our children help us. Uh, my son has come and helped me clean out the hot tub over there. My other son, helped me install uh, new sink faucets. Um, there's, of course, things like cleaning and daily activities that would be very helpful. Um, there is lawn maintenance, stuff like that. All these things that we could possibly want at the home probably could be done with one robot, as long as it was human style, not like the carpet cleaning robots that only do one thing. So if that's true, how many homes are there? That's a lot. Now, would you want a couple robots at a school to help with uh, everything from uh, generic straightening up of the school to identifying problems? Would you want a robot to clean up streets, parks? Um, would you want a robot helping in the grocery store? There are so many different areas you could have somebody or some robots. And I know one of the things you guys are thinking about is, well, wait a minute, that's some of those. Now, me, I don't have anybody. I can't afford a person to help me with all those things that I said earlier. So that would not be removing a job. But some of those other things, humans do uh, help with. Now, I would argue that there's quite a few of those that don't get done as well because they don't have enough humans to do them. There's not enough humans at maybe some of the schools and other areas. So you could have expansion easily. If you're a business and you want to produce something that people want, one of the things you have to take into is cost, and a lot of those costs can be improved significantly if you had more abilities with capital to get uh, those products either produced or maintained. So all that being said is I see a huge high level for AI just in the area of robots, just in that area. And there's so many other areas. Just to mention one more, like we've talked about health and how AI could help us with drug analysis and medical analysis. My wife has some health issues, and I'm hoping to keep her uh, going as much as possible because I do think some of her health issues might be resolved in the future as AI improves its ability to do analysis and find some stuff. Because right now, the health issues she has, we've done tons of tests and seen lots of doctors, and she still doesn't know what's going on with her. Doesn't know, Luna. So that kind of research, analysis, and thought processes, I'm hoping that AI will help significantly. Now, let's take the case. Now, that's the infrastructure case that was put forward. And Chamath uh, had the case of, will investors be annoyed with expenditures and losses, given how much impact uh, that kind of expensive build out will create for AI. And he's got a good point too. There's a joke, but it's based on a lot of facts. People don't want to see failure each year, even if years down the road you can have a huge improvement. People don't like to see the short-term loss of one annual loss. A lot of times, business analysts and business people will ask, "What is the return this quarter or this year?" Because that could impact things significantly. So he's got a good point too. And even though talk about the big top up there, what is that? When do you start getting that uh, exponential increase toward that top? Is it next year? Is it the year after that? Is it the year after that? Is it 5 years, 10 years, 15? Nobody really knows. You know, I'm an enthusiast, so I probably have a little bit better, not better, but a little bit more of the short timeline. You know, they joke about Elon Musk and how he's always so optimistic. He's supposed to have had self-driving cars, what, 5 years ago, and they're still working out the bugs. So it's an interesting uh, conundrum. Oh, my wife would be proud of me. I used another fancy word. Uh, when all that, when the infrastructure will win out, and versus that perceived financial outflow. And the other thing too is, if you're investing in something, you want to invest in something that will uh, return annually. Because the thing is, if you're investing in something and this year it's uh, down and next year it's up, then you're better off putting your money in something that's up this year and then moving it to the other thing and catching the other thing increase. So I guess I've convinced myself that they're both right. I'm hoping the infrastructure argument is a little more true, because if it is, then we'll see a boom in investment, but pretty quickly returned. But again, nobody knows. My prediction is that within 5 years, we're going to see a robot. I don't know if it's going to be expensive. I don't know if it's going to be cheap, but I think you'll have some early adopters and you'll see it as just like you did some of those early electrical vehicles. There'll be some people getting those robots in their house. And then people like me and my wife, 10 years from now, maybe we'll have a robot that'll help us with the garden or taking the dogs. I'm going to take the dogs for a walk. I'm never going to let a robot do that. I'm always going to do that. But maybe the robot will be able to help when we want to go to a weekend to see friends. The robot will take care and give them food, uh, open some cans of food for them while we're out. All right. You guys have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you soon.